This is Full Time Devils. This is the Europa League Astana preview. We're all absolutely buzzing for this one. My name's Gaz Drinkwater. We've got Karl, Edgar here with us, Mo Butt, and Adam Mckola too. Welcome to the preview, guys. Let's get stuck straight in. Astana, Thursday night. I've heard a lot of the fans saying they just want to see a bunch of kids played in this one. What do you think, Mo? Chance for the young guns?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. What's the point of playing any of the starters? Honestly, later on competition, knockout rounds, quarterfinals, round of 16. Yeah, okay, fine. You bring in the big lads. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, there was a Hoover in the background. Who just started hoovering?
Mate, I'm gonna sort my missus out in a minute.
Go on, continue, Mo.
Yeah. You want to play the kids. You want to play the kids against Astana. You don't want to be playing the top players because honestly, when you get to knockout rounds, right, you're playing good teams, fine. But United's group is not. It's not standard, right? It's not like up to standard. So you play the kids, you get them in there. Honestly, because if you're looking at Mason Greenwoods, Chongs, if these kids can't hack it against Astana, then they're probably not going to hack it against Premier League sides.
Especially when it's a home game. Yeah, I sort of do agree. But Adam, do you think there's any negatives to just throwing in a bunch of kids in there against Astana on Thursday?
No, because we won't be just throwing in a bunch of kids. There'll be a few kids that should be playing. And I'm looking at two of Chong, Greenwood and Gomez starting at least. And then the other one coming on for probably half an hour towards the end of the game. I can't imagine that he'll play all of them because there are some fringe players that will want to play. Daniel James hasn't played in European competition in club football. I'm sure he'll want to get a start. So I can imagine there'll be a few players that may still start from the last game, but the Twanzebes, he needs to be getting minutes. He has to be playing. And then even like Rojo Jones haven't played this season. They're involved a lot in pre-season and they haven't played during the competitive part of the season. So you'll be looking at to utilize the squad, be able to give Pogba and Martial were out. Yeah. Pogba and Martial are out. Even if they are fit, we do not need to rush them back. We've got a game on Sunday against West Ham, which is much more important. We're going to need a much stronger team. And like Mo says, with Astana at home, we should be beating them regardless. If we're not beating them, then there's a bigger problem elsewhere. But we're going to have to utilize our squad this season. So it's not just a case of playing players that are never going to play again. These are players that we're going to have to rely on at some point. So we need to give them minutes anyway. But it's not just going to be youth. It's going to be a mixture of squad players and the younger players that are coming through, I think.
Karl, do you think there's any pressure on Ollie for this one? Because if he was to play a younger team, play a load of fringe players, load of reserve players, and then we were to lose, would that be humiliating for him or would it just be, who cares?
No, it would be bad, wouldn't it? It'd be a bad result, regardless of who we play. Do you know what I mean? He already gets enough grief as it is when we drop points. We play well, but drop points or whatever. And obviously gets a load of grief for it. So if he was to lose against Astana, then I dread to think what the fan base would say.
Do you think that means he'll start a stronger team then?
Yeah, I think like Adam says, I think the fringe players like your Jones, your Rojos and all that start. There'd be a lot of senior players in there. And like you said, you're probably looking at like 2 or 3 of the kids starting. Hopefully there's more. Hopefully Jimmy Garner and that gets a look in, but whether he does or not, I don't know.
Mo, do you think there's any pressure on Ollie for this one?
I mean, yeah, because Astana may be like an unknown quantity. They may not be a big team, but like you say, you have to win this game, right? So, but the thing is, once you win the game, then the pressure's sort of off because then you've got your home win, you've got your 3 points, and you're off in a good sort of way. You start a group stage losing a home game. It's always a bad way. You're always on the back foot. Then right from the off, and it's like I don't know, you know what I mean? And the whole thing becomes more pressure laden. You win the home game, then you're off to a good start, then you've got your 3 points, and then things become easy. And of course, then the players you play, whoever that is, whether it's Twanzebe, whether it's Joe Garner, whether it's I always call him Joe Garner, whether it's Twanzebe, Garner, Greenwood, Chong, then they know they can play at the level. They know they can handle this level. I agree, actually. Matt makes a good point about Daniel James. He never played European competition. He'll want to play, but you give Rashford a rest, for instance, right? You give Rashford a rest.
Oh man, Rashford has to be
to be rested.
Especially these games at home. Look, Alkmaar at home, Belgrade at home. I know their fans are very good and they've got the ability to shock teams. But Astana at home, the home games, Pogba, Rashford, Like Martial, De Gea, they shouldn't even be playing in the, like, we should not be using these games. And we talk about squad as if we only use 11 players, like as if using our squad players is disrespectful. It's not. It's a squad game. The truth is, the likes of Jones, the likes of Rojo, they're probably going to end up playing 20 games this season. We want Twanzebe to get minutes under his belt. Matic and Fred in midfield. Matic is talking a lot about playing. So give him a game. You know, we should also be resting players that we need for the league campaign. McTominay is important on Sunday against West Ham. Rest him.
Yeah,
Pogba's important. Don't risk him.
You know what? I reckon Fred. I think he's one thing people forgot about Fred, because he has been hysterically bad. Really, let's be honest. Yeah, is he's actually class. He's a really good player. There's a reason City were trying to buy him. You know, City may have be this and that, but they identify good players.
They tried to buy Sanchez too.
Well, I mean, yeah, but then
Sanchez would be good for City, but that's another story.
And Sanchez would have been good for buying Sanchez when United bought Sanchez made so much sense in the world. The fact that it didn't work is just I still don't understand how that happened. But anyway, he's Inter's problem now. Let them deal with him. City tried to buy him. Fred's actually a really, really, really good player. He hasn't really adapted fully to the pace of the Premier League yet, and United don't have any sort of structure around him in midfield, so he sort of looks a little bit lost. I reckon he'll do really well in the Europa League. I think we'll play him every game, because Pogba's not going to play in the Europa League group stages. I reckon you play Fred every game. I reckon he'll really, really kick on. And I think this could be, regardless of anything else, I think for Fred and for Greenwood, this group stage could be the making of them.
Okay, let's forget how the players feel about the Europa League, the young players, the senior players. Let's talk about how we as fans feel about this competition, because there's still loads of Man United fans saying, seriously, I'd rather just not enter it and not be in Europe this year. But surely the level we're at this year, we're a team that are going to struggle to fight for 4th place in the Premier League. Is this not our level now, Adam?
The reason I don't like the Europa League in a season is because of how much it affects your league campaign. And really, league success for us has to be prioritized above everything. With the thin squad that we have, that's why I think, especially the group stages, you should be able to get through these group stages, even if you have a shock along the way or whatever, playing your second string. We have to protect our players for the Premier League games, because it's important. Look, if Ali gets through the group stages and we win most of our games in the Europa League, but along the way is losing games in the Premier League, his job will be under threat. So it's vital he gets results in the Premier League, and it's vital for our development as well, getting Champions League football. I know you can win the Europa League, but there's also a lot of competition. It's a cup competition, and I think you have more control over what you're doing in the league. When we won it that time, it was great. That night in Stockholm was amazing. But also along the way, I remember feeling pretty pissed off every Sunday because United had dropped points or weren't performing well enough in the league. So performing well week in, week out in the league can make your season feel a whole lot better. And I feel like the Europa League has a negative impact on that, but I still wouldn't mind us winning it.
But we've had Champions League campaigns in the past where we've not necessarily won the competition, but we've enjoyed the campaign along the way. Karl, do you not get that feeling with the Europa League? As we get further into the knockout rounds, if we get into the knockout rounds, will you not be getting G'd up a little bit for Thursday nights, excited for European football?
When you're actually playing a decent team on a Thursday night, it's all right. Do you know what I mean? Like when we won it, we played some decent teams from the quarters up until the final, and you get that sort of European buzz back. But the league games, obviously going away to Kazakhstan and stuff, and then coming over, they just seem like League Cup fixtures. Does that make sense? It's just there's no sort of excitement about it. There's no there's just nothing there. So obviously when you move closer into obviously the final, so your quarters and your semis, and that obviously you do get that feeling back. But like Adam says, it does affect your league season with just the travelling is ridiculous. But on the flip side, in the Champions League, you're not really going that far, are you? So you can sort of handle it a bit better.
I think they should brand it as that. Europa League, the League Cup of Europe.
It is.
Honestly, though, you look at what the Europa League should bring, right? It should be, when you're in it, as a club the size of United, when you're in it, it should be a springboard to get back to where you were, right? So Liverpool, 16, 17 or whatever it was, 15, 16, when they went Europa League, they didn't win it, but they got to the final, great cup run, and it was sort of the catalyst for them to sort of get their stuff together, organise themselves, and You know, now look where they are. Now they're one of the best teams around, right? So, and you look at Chelsea last season, pretty dismal in the league, not really very good. But the Europa League campaign got them back to where they wanted to be. And then you look at United, 16-17, what should have been United getting themselves back to where they wanted to be. Win a cup, get back in the Champions League, Pogba, Zlatan, you're looking good, you win a European trophy, you complete the trophy haul. All right, now let's kick on. And then United didn't kick on because Mourinho, did Mourinho things. Woodward didn't back him, even though like he said he backed him. So United just completely bottled the transition. 17-18 should have been the year United took it and kicked on. I know United finished second, but that was kind of an illusion because De Gea had a mental season in the league. United didn't improve between the 2 seasons. It's kind of stayed the same. And then obviously last season just terrible. So United what I would argue is United are almost back where we were in 16-17. So it's like we have to just do the whole thing again. Yeah, I think Europa League needs to be taken very seriously. Not to say we don't rest players and everything, but I think it's something we need to take very seriously, both in terms of winning a trophy again and getting that winning mentality back amongst the squad and getting back in the Champions League. There's no way United are finishing fourth. It's not going to happen. The squad is too thin. The goal scorers are too unreliable. It's not happening. If United had signed a top quality number 10, maybe. But Arsenal have got the firepower to get themselves out of most problems they've got. And Chelsea, apparently Tammy Abraham is Premier League level. So
Arsenal ain't getting top 4, man. Shut up,
Listen,
man.
see, now this is the question. When you say there's no way United will get top 4, look at the teams around us, man. Are we really that worse than Arsenal, Chelsea, even Spurs? I'm including that.
Ultimately, over the course of the season, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Alexandre Lacazette will win Arsenal enough points to get them top 4. United have no one that reliable. It's that simple. Martial perhaps, but
we do have a defense that's more reliable, and I think the defense is gonna. I'm not. By the way, I'm not. Saying we're going to be involved in a title race or definitely going to get top 4 or anything like that. But people that I remember coming into this season and people were saying, Arsenal are could be the ones to challenge Liverpool and City, and some were guaranteed.
Who are you chatting to?
They've just signed David Luiz. I mean, David Luiz is negative 10 points when you start with him in your team all season. Anyway, so I can see Arsenal possibly finishing above us, but I don't think it's as clear cut as anyone says. And I think having a stronger defense will allow you to win games like we did 1-0 against Leicester. Whereas even if you score 2 goals from an Aubameyang, like we saw at the weekend, if you have a weak defense, you will concede goals and it will cost you points. So
but the thing is,
the fact that we've improved our defense isn't something that should be overlooked because maybe we're lacking that we are lacking that consistent goal scorers, and we're hoping this is the year that Rashford and Martial become those. But
I think Martial will, fitness permitting though. Martial's about fitness. Can he stay fit for the whole season? I think if he does, he'll score plenty of goals. Rashford, I'm not so certain about. And the thing is that even if both of them score, let's say 15, 20 goals, right, which is pretty optimistic, that's still not enough. You need the third guy. Arsenal got 2 20-plus goal strikers in their team. And the main thing is, right, once they get Tierney back, their defence will actually have some sort of shape to it. Now, David Luiz is a clown car of a defender, no doubt about it. But United have shown in those big games that Lindelof even can be preyed upon to be weak. Maguire and Wan-Bissaka are fantastic. Wan-Bissaka is the best right back in the league, because he can actually defend, unlike the other one in Liverpool. He's phenomenal. And left back, okay, Luke Shaw is whatever, Ashley Young is whatever, but De Gea signed a new contract. Hopefully now that sorts his head out and he starts playing like David De Gea again and not whatever the hell this imposter's been for the last year. So I agree United have a better defence, but ultimately the lack of ability to break teams down, because look at Palace, look at Wolves, people will follow that blueprint as Saints as well. Just park the bus, because United immediately can't do anything. If you park the bus, they don't know what to do. They're relying on just some bit of magic. James
We're lacking that. This is at number 10. That's why there's a lot of talk about James Maddison.
That's why United were after Maddison in the summer, Eriksen, Dybala, all these players, because they need that guy to sort of not just be the creative playmaker, but to give them a sense of attacking structure. Right now, when United attack, there's no pattern to it. It's like, well, what are we doing this time? Well, let's go down the left. What are we doing? Let's go down the right. There's no idea or structure to it. And, okay, fine, you can't implement that overnight, but with a number 10, at least you can sort of fake it, because you just direct everything. Like, look at Spurs, right? A lot of times they just direct everything through Eriksen, and it works, because he's a brilliant creator. So United needed that number 10. If they had got that number 10, I'll say this. If they'd gotten a number 10, United would have finished top 4 easily. I don't know. Because the rest of the squad is there.
I don't
Just
know
needs
what
that-
you're talking about, Mo. We've got Jesse Lingard and Juan Mata in our team. That's more than enough.
I
Right.
love Jesse Lingard, but no.
Right. Predicted 11's time then. This is going to be interesting. We do a predicted 11 league, and this is where it just is all going to go out the window and no one's going to know who's going to play. But I am being told by producer Nick that I am actually top of the predictor league. So who saw that one coming? I've only been on twice.
Predicted teams in, like, you're presenting most of the time, so I don't know what's going on
Exactly.
there.
I've only in twice, and I've been slipping Jay 20 quid to put me top of the table, so it's sweet. Also, just to let you know, because I saw a few comments
Overcharging you.
on the last preview, we record this before Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference, just because feasibly that makes more sense. Otherwise, we won't have enough time to edit and get it out in time for you guys. So for anyone about to comment like, yeah, all these players are injured, I've literally just said it. Listen to what I'm saying.
So many knobheads as well. Like, watch the video, man. What's your problem? Like, you're gonna watch it anyway. Like, oh no, you recorded. Why can't you do it an hour before the game? Shut up, man.
We do it an hour before the game. It'll get about
People have got
100
lives,
views.
you know. It's hard to get everyone together, fucking on Skype, and get Nick fully functioning for us to get the preview out there. So, demanding that we do it after the press conference and we know all the team news is pretty much of a long shot.
But we could do it today. Nick's stocked up on coffee. We don't know which players are going to be injured, but let's get stuck into it. Adam, who's in your starting 11 to play Astana?
Hold on, let me check because I've written this one down because I made a lot of changes.
All right then.
Right.
All right then, Karl, what's your starting 11 to play Astana?
I got it if you want. Oh, all right.
Go on, Adam, because I've not even done mine.
Fucking hell, no one's prepared.
This is why you're top of the league, guys.
Am I a joke to you?
Romero in goal. Delo's been tweeting, so I think Delo's back.
Nice.
Players normally tweet the day above a game before a game when they know they're going to start. So Delo and Rojo at fullback. Twanzebe and Jones centre half. So I've completely changed the back five.
Interesting.
Fred and Matic in midfield. Give Matic some more game time so he's not complaining and we can take him out of the Premier League ones. And hopefully Fred, if Fred plays well for 60 minutes, take him off.
I agree.
Because he should be playing against West Ham. I just want to see Fred getting match fit. Because if he can come in and sit alongside McTominay or whatever, then we actually can put Pogba further forward and we've maybe got someone that can create those chances. Although it's not like Pogba hasn't been creating chances already. He has, but getting him further up the field's better. Then behind Greenwood, so I've got Fred, Matic, Chong, Lingard, James, and Greenwood. I would say Gomez if Jesse was in form, but Jesse's not in form. So play him, and hopefully he can get a goal or get his mojo back. Do you know what I mean? And then bring on Gomez, or start Gomez and put Lingard in Chong's place.
Interesting.
But,
it's an interesting way to use this competition, actually, to use sort of out-of-form players and try and get their confidence back up. Or, on the other hand, if they don't perform, realise they're probably not good enough for Man United in the first place. Mo, what's your starting 11, pal?
I mean, quite similar to Mac. Romero's going to be in goal. I think Delo right back because I think you've got to rest Wan-Bissaka. The man is just a miracle worker up on the right. Twanzebe in the middle, Jones in the middle. Honestly, I think if Twanzebe doesn't bench Lindelof at some point this season, I'll be quite surprised. Just as an aside, I think Rojo left back just because Shaw is, that fits. So Youngie's in the main team, so whatever. Midfield, I think Fred will start again. Yeah, I agree with Fred, but I think he'll keep Pereira in because honestly, Pereira just does nothing in the main 11. Like you may as well play him in centre mid in this game, let him get some confidence up. He's shocking. He's shockingly average. So Pereira, plus he can take set pieces in this game, so he'll love that. So Pereira and Fred in midfield. I think Jesse. I think Mata might get the 10. Honestly, I think Mata. Because I think Jesse out of form. I think West Ham. I think you want a bit more of a dynamic player against West Ham. I think you play Jesse. I think Mata gets the number 10. Again, he can sort of be the big man, run the show. He's a bit more of an experienced guy. With Mata, you play Dan James, I agree, because he's young, he's full of energy, and he wants to play. Then Chong and Greenwood. So Chong on the left, let's say, and then Greenwood up front.
Interesting team. I like it. It's exciting up front as well. Karl, what have you gone for, mate?
Romero, Delo. I'm going to go with Rojo and Tuanzebe as centre-backs.
Okay.
Because I think you'll probably see Ashley Young for the fact of he's captain. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you need sort of that leader on the pitch. Then you probably, like you see, Fred, Matic as the 2, like Mata as the 10, and then probably go with the kids across the front 3 with like Chong, Greenwood, and probably Daniel James.
Daniel James, right. Okay, I thought Daniel James might get a rest in this one since he's been so well. I'm not saying that he's running out of fitness or anything. The guy looks like he could run for miles. Okay, opposition. This is going to be fun. Astana of Kazakhstan. I trust you've all done your research. Let's start with Mo, because I think you might have actually done some research.
And look, they're 3rd in the Kazakhstan League right now, but they've got 2 games in hand. If they win those 2 games in hand, they'll go top by 1 point. So they are still the best team in Kazakhstan. But they've lost 6 games this season. They've drawn twice. So, we're not going to get a draw, I don't think, in this game. It'll probably be a win or a loss. I mean, you'd hope it'd be a win, but I mean, who the hell knows, honestly. Bloody Palace won at Old Trafford, so.
Exactly, yeah.
Anything's possible. Look, they're a decent side, but like United should beat them comfortably. They've only lost 1 game in their last, 5, 6, 7 games. So they lost to Bate away, right, in qualification, but they beat them 3-0 in Kazakhstan. So they're a good homes. They're a better home side than they're away. I think coming to Old Trafford, I think they might be a bit motivated. They might play above themselves, have a really good game plan. But I don't see them really threatening, to be honest. Their most dangerous striker is, Murtazaev. He's got 7 goals this season. So he's, look, they're not going to show up and just let United walk all over them, right?
Yeah.
But they'll give United a fight. They'll definitely go for it. But I think United should have this in the bag, in all honesty. This is not...
Yeah, no, I agree with what you say there, mate. But it's also like when I laughed then when you said they're the best team in Kazakhstan, and when you think about it, it's quite disrespectful actually, because they've obviously got a winning mentality. I mean, and then that counts for so much in football. You just mentioned the top scorer scored 7 goals this season. Yeah,
but also what's interesting is the Kazakhstan League is a year league. It's not like a seasonal thing like England and that.
Okay.
So they're coming to the end of their season. So they're going to be in like running form. So, I mean, you never know what that's going to be like, because United will have like a bunch of players playing for the first time this season. They're going to have a bunch of players who've been playing all season and they're bang at it.
Right.
So that just that difference in mentality, like we've seen before on preseason tours and that, like against like much inferior Japanese teams, Chinese teams, like they're playing like the end of their year, and they're just bang at it, and so the difference in fitness could be notable. So I mean, I'm just trying to make this interesting, because honestly, their prediction should be United will walk it, but I'm trying to make it interesting, add some flavour. There's a chance.
I laugh because you've just mentioned the top goal scorer had 7 goals, and I was like, bloody hell, he's on fire! And apparently we're right near the end of their season. Karl, do you know anything about Astana, mate?
No.
Okay, moving on. Adam, do you know anything about Astana, mate?
Not particularly more than Mo said, really. Obviously, they've you can say they've got that winning mentality, but they have lost 6 of their games this season. So it's not like they piss their league every single year, even though they might go top if they win both their game in hand. Having said that, they did beat Bate Borisov in the last round of qualifying for the Europa League. And Bate aren't a great, amazing team either, but they are playing in Champions League and Europa League pretty much every season, and they do well occasionally as well. Up against bigger teams. So, they're not pushovers, but come on, man. These are teams that we should be beating. One of our players is probably making as much as their whole squad. There's a reason these guys are playing for Astana, with all due respect. So we need to be beating them. That's the danger if you put out a team of players that aren't at full fitness or haven't been playing week in, week out, up against a team that has been, then you could see some issues. So whoever does play needs to take their chance and be at it.
Okay.
That's why it's important to play someone like Daniel James, because he's gonna keep the tempo going. He's gonna keep the energy levels high as well.
Correction, Marin Tomasov is their top scorer, and he's got 12 goals.
Okay, 12 goals. That's a little bit better then. Right, score prediction, guys. Karl, what's your score prediction?
3-0.
3-0. Nice. Mo, what you reckon?
I reckon 3-1. I think United will score 2-1. They'll score one against another player, make it a bit nervy, but then Greenwood will polish it off.
Yeah, I think we can see that happening. Adam, what about you, mate?
I was going to say 3-0, but I'll say 4-0 because it's been said. But I didn't really want to go 4+, but I am. Because I wasn't going to say 2-0.
I imagine this is going to be a bit like that England game, and I think that they're going to score first early on. I could just see it happening and it finishing 4-1 to United or something. I think I'd be all right as long as we sweep them aside after that, but I'm going to say 4-1. Guys, get your score prediction in below, who you think is going to start. Another reminder, we record this before Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference, so if he's told us about a load of injuries, we don't know about them just yet. But guys, thank you very much for watching the preview for Astana at home. We're all really looking forward to it. Thursday night, back in the Europa League. Yes. Right, we'll catch you next time in a bit. Laters.